In today's video, I'm going to be making a bag from an old quilt. Hi, I'm Megan. Welcome to my sewing space, and in today's video, I'm going to be using some of the leftover pieces from that antique butterfly quilt to make either a bag or a purse, something of that nature. So let's get into this. I got my quilt spread out on the floor right here next to me, and I'm going to start cutting into it now. I'm spending a lot of time and consideration on how I should cut out my pieces and settled on 12 inches by 14.5 inches. These quilt blocks are a little crooked, so I'm doing my best to cut them straight. But I still managed to have the one on the right come out pretty wonky. So now I'm taking my time carefully lining up the green border of the crooked side using my straight pins. Then I use an air erasable pen to draw a line between the pins. And this is the line that I'm going to sew down to hopefully get a nice straight finish. I feel like that was probably so much more complicated than it needed to be, but here we are, clipped on this side, pinned on this side, and let's sew it together and hope it ends up straight. Moment of truth, let's turn it right side out. Not bad, actually, not bad at all. Now, the green doesn't match up perfectly, like it's not butted up against each other, but the cream space in between the green is pretty even on this side, and same on this side, pretty even. Honestly, with this bag, I'm not going for perfection. I'm going for close enough because the quilt pieces aren't perfect and the bag doesn't have to be either. It's gonna be a one-of-a-kind unique piece. Next, I'm going to sew the bottom corners of the bag. So I'm placing pins in the bottom corner of the green border on each side. And then I turn the bag inside out and draw a line in between the pins. Then I'm sewing over the lines that I just drew. And everything is lined up the way that I had hoped. So I can cut off the excess fabric at the corners. I just realized I screwed up. If I was going to finish my seams with binding, I should have done some of that before I did that last step. So I'm gonna unpick those seams. Okay, so before I sew on my binding, I've been giving a lot of contemplation to how I want to sew on the straps, what I want to use for straps. The more I'm thinking about it, the more I think that this would look really, really cool as a crossbody bag. Instead of having a tote bag with a couple small straps like this to hang on to, I thought it would be really cool to do a full crossbody. And I have this really pretty lace in a super similar color, and I thought, wouldn't this be cute? The problem is, if you put any tension on this, it rips. So my thought is, I have some tan binding that I think if I stitch the lace to this bias binding, it would be a really, really pretty strap. So that's what I decided to do. I forgot to film measuring and cutting the pieces, but here I'm sewing the lace to the binding. And here is the finished strap. Next, I pin the strap to the side seams, and then using a piece of bias binding that has been pressed open, I fold over the raw edge, line it up with the top of the bag, covering the raw edge of the strap, and then pin and edge stitch that in place along both sides of the binding. Here's what that looks like, and I repeat for the other side. And then for the bottom seam, I'm going to sandwich the raw edge inside my binding to finish, because I'm not going to be able to add the binding the same way that I did for the side seams, unfortunately due to the way that I constructed the bag. Poor planning on my part, but I can live with it. And here is everything bound. It's time to re-sew the corners again. And right here my machine just would not sew through this 2mm section of the bag. There are way too many layers. I think I counted 22, and it gave me an error reading. So I had to turn the machine on and off and then baby the fabric through the machine. Okay, so these little corners, I am gonna leave raw. I'm not going to try and finish the edges. To try and bind it like I did the other seams, it's way too bulky to use on my brother's sewing machine. It kind of pitched a fit there just sewing this line. I think if I added 4 more layers of fabric with the binding that it would just... And I'm also worried I'm gonna break a needle. So we're just gonna leave it raw for now. But I'm gonna give everything a really good press, and then this bag it's done. And here we go, finished bag. What do you guys think? I think that it matches the coat really nicely. I am very happy with how this bag turned out. Do I love it? Yes. Am I gonna use it all the time? Yes. Believe it or not, and I did not plan this, it is the perfect size for my laptop. I think I will use it as like my laptop case. The only thing about this bag that I don't like is how on the bottom the 2 little tips of the butterfly wings are there. So I might actually unpick these, and let me unpick them right now actually. There we go. That's it. Thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video, and I will see you in the next one. Bye!